If you are receiving this transmission, you are the Resistance. Live from Austin, Texas, broadcasting worldwide, it's Alex Jones.
I've said this many times, and it's always been true, but as the world quickens, as time and space and technological developments accelerate, as populations explode, as knowledge increases, but also ignorance, for every action there's an opposite and equal reaction, as time and space piles on, it is harder and harder to even try to scratch the surface of the incredible developments, but somehow I've got to do it today. Because each story has other stories that are corollary that give you the big picture. We have Hurricane Harvey hysteria. Customers all over Texas fight as stores sell out of water and other key staples. Why do people never have the basic staples, most folks? And then images from space are just unbelievable. I guess that's from the International Space Station. If you're watching us on television, we are a radio/television transmission, Infowars.com/show. But our report is up on DrudgeReport.com, Hurricane Harvey hysteria. And they are calling it the perfect storm. No pun intended. Harvey to make landfall as Cat 3 hurricane, 40 inches of rain, latest updates. I'm looking to send some reporters down there right now. Worst case scenario looms for Texas with Hurricane Harvey. Storm of the decade, perfect conditions could make Harvey the strongest hurricane to hit the U.S. in 12 years, as Texans are told, get out of Dodge before 130-mile-an-hour wind and rain cause alligator-infested floods. It's actually true. They took the ban on hunting alligators off 10 years ago or something. They were like running around like roaches. My son killed 3 just a few years ago in one hunt. One of them 10 feet long. Guess bigger gators in Louisiana now. So Hurricane Harvey could be a flooding disaster as storm stalls over Texas. They get 3 inches in Houston, they flood. They're talking 40 inches, and it's building. It's accelerating. And it's set to start hitting tonight. This thing kind of crept up on us. It was first as a tropical storm in Category 1. We're not sure. Category 2, Category 3 accelerating right towards Texas. Going to hit around Corpus Christi, Port Aransas. They haven't been hit in decades there by a bad hurricane. And then turn up the coast and rampage up through Houston. But part of it hits Austin and San Antonio, but that's the left flank. If it keeps its track, it is going to devastate Houston and the entire area north of Corpus Christi and Port Aransas. One of my favorite fishing spots down there. So it is barreling in, folks. Our prayers are with all the folks that are down there. Now that said, there's the other big giant news. We broke back on August 4th with Jack Posobiec, who'd been in meetings with folks from the White House who were told, you don't visit Infowars.com. And then, of course, the media totally ignored that, even though it came directly from high-level sources. Well, it's now in USA Today. Politico broke it. Oh, my gosh, the exact words we said have now been confirmed by basically General Kelly. And his argument is, well, he's keeping all news from the president, but those sites are, I guess, some of his particular favorites, so that people can't just do walk-ins. And they're real worried about his son, Donald Jr., bringing him stuff. And then the media tries to spin it that they're saying it's fake news. Yeah, fake news like you were going to win the election, the polls are off, or fake news like the president was getting ready to get rid of Reince Priebus and Spicer. We said they'd get rid of him on a Friday, and they got rid of him on a Friday, or all the hundreds of other big things we told you that came true, just like we told you that Kelly had done this 2.5 weeks before anybody else did. Oh, and then there's the big news, the other fake news, running the headline that I have proof Michelle's a tranny. Why do you think the globalists are after us so much? Why do you think they're demonizing me so much? Why do you think they're coming after us on every conceivable front with straw men and so many other forms of deception? It's because the globalists know that we have their number and that we're aware of their operations and that we've read their books and read their publications and understand they're establishing a private corporate world government that controls all the major parties and creates a synthetic form of consensus to bring in a post-industrial, anti-human new dark age. And that's their words, not mine. An authoritarian technocracy where the future doesn't need humanity and where we're obsolete. These are the big issues that should unify all of us. But instead they make it a partisan issue. Then they have the Democratic Party attack you, and you can't help but then fight back in a partisan way because the only folks organized to battle back against it are the Republicans, but half of them are neocon globalist collaborators, and so you're surrounded basically in a pincer attack. But the good news is the people of the world are waking up. Authoritarian, unelected globalism is in trouble, and the elites admit that in their own internal publications and in leaks. So we have right on our side. We have history on our side. We have the numbers, and we are beginning to transcend their propaganda, but they are intensifying their old tricks to the next level. We're going to cover this very dangerous hurricane, the worst they're saying to hit the United States in more than 12 years. We've seen record low hurricane activity in the last 12 years, but now Hurricane Harvey is coming barreling in, set to hit later this evening. It reportedly, we can put the track up on screen for folks, is going to rampage up the coast, hitting somewhere around Corpus Christi and Port Aransas, and then turning to the east and plowing up through the central eastern part of the state. We'll be able to cover the hurricane from right here in Austin, Texas, but I am talking to my brave reporters to see who wants to bite the bullet or draw the short straw. No, wild horses couldn't drag them away. To jump in the old Ford F-150 I've got here for the office vehicle and drive down close to the coast to show the bare shelves, the people fighting over water that's being reported, and to show the big evacuation. I don't think we need our guys to be there when it makes landfalls, or the famous image of the reporter blowing around in their rain suit or in their raincoat. But we want to just show how precarious civilization is and how a storm or an earthquake or a war or a disease outbreak can destabilize things so incredibly quickly. So that's coming up and is absolutely key. We've got Jack Posobiec joining us. He broke back on the 4th of this month, 2.5, 3 weeks ago. White House's staffers, if you like InfoWars or Milo, you're fired, and basically said it's banned in the White House and don't show it to the president. Of course, no media that's fake picked it up. All the real media did pick it up. And now it's in Politico, it's in the New York Times, in the Washington Post, it's in BuzzFeed, that indeed we are dead on accurate and exactly as we said has now been confirmed and reported. But notice they don't give Jack Posobiec credit. I have Charlie Wirzell's number from BuzzFeed and that organization that poses as reporters, their PP-gate comic book fantasies and the rest of it that they write fiction on. And I text messaged him and I said, are you going to add this to your story? That Jack Posobiec broke it word for word? And he kind of said, good point, he texted back. But I didn't really get clarification on whether he's going to update the story at the top to say, wow, InfoWars is right again, just like we called exactly when Priebus and others would be fired and who would be brought in. Just like we told you about the smart meter spying on you and the bisphenol A causing you to have sexual cancers, in your organs and all sorts of other problems and infertility. Everything we talk about is basically in the main literature, the scientific literature. It's just not in pop culture. So I had countless people, many people walk to me in Seattle and go, you are a liar. And I'd go, why? And they'd go, gay frogs. And I'd go, well, that's not true. A lot of you saw the live feeds on the streets. I go, that's not true. That's funny then, huh? But I go, let me just show you here on my computer, on my phone, hundreds of studies about atrazine causing about half the frogs in most of the U.S. to be bisexual or sterile. They said, I don't want to look at it. You're a Nazi. And I'd say, don't you care about your kids? One guy had his kid with him. This runoff's causing cancer, serious problems. He said, no, I care about Nazis. And I'm like, I understand. You're Captain America. You found a Nazi now. This isn't live-action role play, bro. I'm a real person. The globalist created the Nazis. The Kaiser Wilhelm Institute. The Cold Springs Harbor, IBM. They're the ones fighting me. Shish, you know what, Nazi? F off. And I'm like, yeah, it just feels good to say you found a Nazi and shake your finger at him because Tom Brokaw told you with no proof, and MSNBC said, but I'm actually here exposing this program that's declassified to literally sterilize your children, and it'll give you breast cancer, testicular cancer, you name it. I mean, just a few of these chemicals. They don't want to hear it, folks. They're already committed to the lie. It feels good. They feel smug. They're part of the establishment, even though they're useful idiots. They don't want to know. So that's coming up. Also, armed Antifa, which means pro-fascist, but they call themselves anti-fascists. Remember, just always invert it. You're actually back up and down. Armed Antifa call for open revolution, violence against police. We got a bunch of videos, a bunch of special reports. Again, Posobic's joining us, Leanne McAdoo, Doug Hagman, Roger Stone, and so much more. We'll probably be going live to a feed, too, from the White House with Mike Cernovich, who's been there reporting, getting a lot of key intel all week. He's been inside the White House all week. So that's going to be coming up as well, as we have some excerpts of that, or go to some of that live for you right here in the next 3 hours and 45 minutes. But before we go any further, I could see this coming 1,000 miles away. Remember Trevor Noah, but also The Daily Show and The Late Show, or whatever it's called, with Stephen Colbert. I don't really keep track of the shows. I just see the clips where they attack me sometimes. They attack me daily now, so there's no way to cover it all. Seriously, I mean, I haven't even watched most of the new clips of them attacking me last night, the night before, but I knew what I saw, and I said it on air about 2 months ago. Gwyneth Paltrow puts out her own supplement line. And they didn't want to look like they were persecuting just a, quote, conservative, even though they were. So she drew the short straw. They picked her. And I said, all of our products are being bought by big think tanks, watchdog groups, The Daily Show, The Late Late Show, The Late Show. They're all buying it. They don't even hide it on the receipts. NBC, ABC, CBS, Time Warner. They're buying everything. D Magazine, Newsweek, Time. They're all buying our products and then sending them off to be tested. And they found that they were the cleanest out there in the big BuzzFeed study with a very aggressive California lab. But I said, look, they're not done. They've chosen poor Gwyneth Paltrow as the sacrificial lamb to go, oh, look, we're calling for consumers, everybody to sue and go after Alex Jones, but we're throwing Gwyneth Paltrow in there as well. You know, because she's saying seaweed baths are good for your skin or whatever. I mean, that even says that at the Walgreens. But see, nobody's going after Walgreens. Nobody's going after CVS that sells colloidal silver. Nobody's going after Bezos that owns Whole Foods and Amazon. I asked BuzzFeed this morning, I said, why are you still doing all this when you know it's just to target me? And they couldn't even deny it, couldn't even argue, because it's true. And so they're not going to stop. You have to understand that. And if they can't get a California lab to spike it, they'll find somebody to. They mean business. These people launch phony wars. They do it all. They're fake individuals. They're fake liberals. And so they're trying with everything they can. John Oliver, all of them. They've launched a new Jordan Kepler program that's like The Daily Show that'll air 5 days a week, where he debuted clips last night on The Daily Show saying, I play Alex Jones and I say the things he says. No, you don't. You don't say anything I say. You're a fraud that's stolen my identity that then misrepresents it. But again, this is what they do. And then their weak-minded viewers will attack me on the street believing the things he says. This is next-level psychological straw man warfare. So here's the new news. I told you they were doing this. Advertising watchdog files complaint against Gwyneth Paltrow in 2 cherry-picked districts of California with district attorneys calling for criminal charges against Gwyneth Paltrow for claims she made. Now, you know how this works. First, they're going to indict her. Then it's Alex Jones, even though I haven't made the claims. And we've got the lawyers. We're ready We're going to make major hay out of this. We're going to turn this around in a judo move. I know we are, because we always do. But the poor thing has got to be, you know, SWAT teamed first. Because, again, they want to make it look like it's not partisan, as if when I depose all these groups and all these people and get their emails and put private eyes on them and things we've already done to some of these groups, as if we don't already know the strategy I told you months ago, as if we're not already ready, as if we can't show that it's racketeering, as if they're not used to having someone counter-sue them, because they're not used to somebody seeing what they do and understanding their operations. Even if they ever got it in front of a jury, can you imagine? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm selling the exact same product sold in Whole Foods, and they even make more claims than I do, but why am I here? I'm here because of my political speech, and even if you don't agree with my speech, do you believe that I should be witch hunted and hauled in here to be fined millions of dollars or thrown in prison because I dare sell melatonin and say it's associated with better sleep when that's a fact? We are back live. Coming up in the next segment, I'm going to go through the hurricane and how serious it is. This is not hype. Folks know I don't hype hurricanes unless they're really serious. This is serious. And I've got family directly in the line of it. I intend to have reporters down there covering it today and tomorrow. The aftermath is what's key. Our stories on DrudgeReport.com. Hurricane Harvey hysteria. Customers fight as stores sell out of water. See the video. See the photos at Infowars.com, Newswars.com. And, of course, DrudgeReport.com, the mighty Drudge Report. Boy, the globalists hate that organization exists. Now, we're also going to get into the total hysteria where Pelosi doesn't know where she is again. She's calling Trump George W. Bush again and says the Constitution does not say that a person can yell wolf in a crowded theater. I don't know who has worse dementia. I don't know if it's her or if it's Maxine Waters, but these people are out of their minds. And then they're the ones setting up a commission to look if Trump has dementia. I'm not kidding. In fact, there's Democrats, I saw it on CNN this morning, are saying that they're going to be on this commission. And the question was, will they be bipartisan or fair? That's a joke. It's like, again, saying, will Hitler sit in judgment of himself at Nuremberg? But the question is, they're the ones that obviously have had more Botox than anybody else in history and don't know what planet they're on. Aleppo is where, in Korea, where Putin attacked Korea. But President Bush, he needs to learn that he's the problem. They don't even know what planet they're on. So that's coming up. So many clips, so many guests today. But first, let me get back to Gwyneth Paltrow. The poor thing, when I saw it, because these things go out in talking points from the Democratic Party and from Hillary and through Zucker and others. I mean, it's admitted. So the exact same scripts everywhere, every major comedy show starting 2 months ago. Oh, look at Gwyneth Paltrow. She's a kook. She's a nut. She's evil. Supplements are bad. No, none of them work. You know, she's totally insane. Oh, and look, she sells some of the same type stuff that Alex Jones does. And I went, that poor thing, they've just chosen to burn her so that, oh, we're not just singling out Alex Jones. Look, we got Gwyneth Paltrow, too. They won't go after Bezos, who owns Whole Foods and Amazon, the biggest seller of supplements, and some really bad ones. Whole Foods sells the highest quality, right down to stuff that's known to be bad. I mean, hell, you can go to the big stores at the malls. We all know the name. They got sports enhancers. They've tested their stuff, and they find amphetamines sometimes in the sports enhancers because I guess it works. They try to put stuff in there that works, even though it's illegal. That's why they're always catching sports enhancement stuff, you know, filled with stuff. But that's not supplements. That's not nutrients. That's why they studied ours and said it's just really well-known herbs. In fact, none of it's really fancy or you know, really complex. It's staple, concentrated, cold pressed, and other systems. Exactly. And now, advertising watchdog files complaint against Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop, that's her company, for deceptive health claims. How dare her? She's had some health and wellness events she put on. No one in Hollywood to get into that, because only Bezos is allowed to make the money. In response, Goop says TINA.org provided limited information and made threats under arbitrary deadlines, which were not reasonable under the circumstances. And it goes on to say a Madison, Connecticut-based nonprofit that describes itself as dedicated to empowering consumers to protect themselves, and then it goes on, from false advertising, cites 51 examples in which Goop touts products on her site, either seriously or implicitly. And then it goes on to say that they've gone to 2 different chief attorneys, district attorneys in 2 counties in California, just like they use Travis County to go after Republicans, and that they're calling for her to be indicted, basically, for criminal activity. That's what it says right here. So it's like, oh, we're not targeting Alex Jones. We indicted Gwyneth Paltrow first. And you've got all these Democrat TV shows saying, look at Gwyneth Paltrow, look at Alex Jones. Get them, get them, get them, get them, get them. They're not allowed to sell L-tryptophan. They're not allowed to sell melatonin. But I can walk in any Walgreens, anywhere else, and it just says right on the bottle, helps you have better sleep. Because it's just well-known fact. But in hundreds of studies, but we don't even say that. We just say, well, we've got melatonin and L-tryptophan and valerian root and all these other things. And boy, when I personally take it, it helps me sleep. They're like, arrest him. Good Lord, throw that man in jail. Can you believe what he did? Support us. Buy the products. Throw it in their face. InfoWarsStore.com. Commit today to support us in the face of the enemy. Everybody understands this fact, but I want you to really focus on it if you can. Because if they can take Trump down, or they can take me down, they can take you down, and they mean to take you down. They admit it. In all their publications, how much they hate you and your family. They admit they absolutely want to tear down God, tear down the family unit, and totally dominate the human species itself. That is the ultimate tyrant dream since the beginning of civilization, and they believe that they are now within grasp of that holy grail, of that satanic brass ring. And poor little Gwyneth Paltrow is not a mainline leftist. She's more of a libertarian. I've known for years. She was in a film exposing chemtrails made in Australia. I know folks that know her. They told me a decade ago that she was dialed in. Hollywood knows that. So they said, who are we going to burn and make an example of? We're going to burn her. Because we got to burn her before we burn Alex Jones. And it's not hard to figure out when it's the same talking points on the news and on all these so-called comedy shows that are really fake news. That hides behind, oh, we're just comedy. I play Alex Jones's character and I love Hitler. Major movies, TV shows, HBO shows, Netflix shows, all of it. And it goes on and on and on and on. And now you read on, and they filed with 2 district attorneys in 2 different counties to make sure, I guess, they get one of them that does it, a complaint calling for criminal charges. That's rarely done. Usually they call for civil penalties. But no, we want her criminally locked up. That's your Democrats. Yeah, we'll show everybody in Hollywood to stay in line, and we'll show everybody about Jones. We'll get some district attorney to indict him. Do it. Let's go. I'm so ready for this. You think I'm just going to go in and say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know it. I'm going to go, boom, we've got your files. Boom, we're subpoenaing this. Boom, we're going after the watchdog group. Boom, we're getting the files from The Daily Show and The Late Late Show and all the rest of the shows that admittedly are being directed. And then people inside those organizations, I know, are going to leak us all the emails and the coordination with the Democratic Party and George Soros because we've already been given some of it. Oh, yeah. And guess what? It's already saved on servers in other countries. You don't just think I figured all this out on my own, do you? We know all about the lawyer meetings in D.C. and the ones in Los Angeles and the ones in Austin, Texas. And we know about the ones in New York. And we know all about it. And we've got some of your names in some of your little emails. What, did you just think you were going to destroy me and that there weren't other forces fighting you? You just think I'm all here by myself? Everybody knows I'm not going to back down and give up. That's the only reason I've been given all this support. because I'm not going to waver. I'm not going to falter. I'm not going to have them threaten me and my family, everything, and promise it'll all be all right if I just back down. No, it's going to be all right because I'm going to run you over. Because I'm just the tip of the spear. And by the time you figure that out, the spear would have already gone past you because it went through you politically in a loving, peaceful way. And you'll never know what hit you because it already hit you. You're already flailing around politically, bleeding to death, announcing how powerful you are and putting out all your talking points, how you're invincible and how you're unstoppable. But you're not. So just because they're doing this, I'm going to announce a money bomb for 2 weeks out that I want to be the biggest we've ever done for the war chest for all these attacks that are already here and the attacks that are coming. And you see our expansions and our new shows and the new reporters and everything we're doing to really have an even stronger war chest just dedicated. And I'm already doing it, getting the top lawyers lined up, different sectors of the country, so they're ready on the ground when they launch different operations. Because don't you want us to win? But whatever you do, just go to InfoWarsStore.com today and buy the supplements and buy the water filtration and buy the coffee that they say is a scam. You know, they're saying I'm making claims that coffee wakes you up. I'm serious. They're trying to get criminal charges for that. Because I'm a bad person, you know, selling coffee, high-quality organic coffee from Mexico, high mountain, desert. Actually, locally sourced. What's the term? Wild source. It's beyond organic. Limited time flash special. Get Super Male Vitality for 57% off at InfoWarsLife.com. We've never done that before. 57% off because I want you to try it and see how good it's worked for me personally. Stamina, energy, libido, I personally experienced. It's got well-known herbs that are concentrated and cold-pressed. 3,600 plus reviews on Power Reviews, a third-party site. And they even had groups go at them and say, this isn't real, let us see your records. They laughed and said, sure, here it is, it's all real. What, you think anybody could go create tens of thousands of fake reviews, 3,000 for one product alone? Thank you all for your support, folks. InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com. Get your Super Male Vitality 57% off. We can't do the female Vitality because it's about to sell out because I already did a sell on that. We've got your super combo, Survival Shield X2, Nascent Iodine, and BioTrue Selenium for 45% off at InfoWarsStore.com for a limited time. InfoWarsStore.com or 888-253-3139. We're giving you both Survival Shield X2, Nascent Iodine, and BioTrue Selenium for a massive 45% off when you visit InfoWarsStore.com for a limited time. These two formulas are the perfect super combo for supporting a healthy thyroid and supercharging your health. Selenium helps support the immune system, DNA production, thyroid health, and eyesight. True Iodine helps support healthy hormone levels and healthy metabolic systems and much more. You die without iodine. That's not a claim. That's a fact. Just like Jones claims you need oxygen to live. A complete conspiracy there. He claims coffee wakes you up. Oh, God. I just saw Whole Foods years ago, best-selling organic Chiapas coffee. I went and found out where you got it, brought it in and sell it. But it's okay for them to say really delicious, aromatic, organic, volcanic soil coffee. I mean, do I need to even say coffee wakes you up? They're saying the name Wake Up. You can't prove coffee wakes you up, you criminal. You filth. You ever heard such of a scammer? Such fake news? D Magazine, hometown newspapers. Look at Jones, and they use coffee and go, look at the false claim. We want criminal charges. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, he sold melatonin and said it made you sleep. But he did something worse. He sold coffee at $5 a pound less than the very same stuff is at Whole Foods. And he called it, now get ready for this, ladies and gentlemen, that man sitting right there, that devil, sold coffee with the name Wake Up America. We all know America is a white supremacist term on top of it. Not since they emailed out an image of a white baby with an American flag in its hand at the ACLU have we seen such disgraceful, radical evil. We call for 5 years in prison and $2 million fine on that devil. And this isn't even a joke. Fake news. The baby photo doesn't have a flag in his hand. Click on the tweet. That's a crop photo. Show the evil triggering American flag. There it is. Bingo. Well, they'll run a story saying I'm lying about this. You know, that's what they do. But the ACLU said, we're so sorry. We won't do it again. Don't call us, literally, don't call us racist. No, don't do that. Not that. No, please don't. Please, I'm sorry. I'll do whatever you say. I'll do whatever you say. Just take my guns, my children, everything. Just open the borders up. I'll do whatever MSNBC says. Just don't have Tom Brokaw call me a racist. Please keep me in check. Oh, but the ACLU didn't get what they did. They sent out Kermit saying he was sorry. Don't you get the code? That's Pappy the Frog. The ACLU is white supremacist. Oh, my gosh. Oh, why didn't I see the code words? The code words. Look, I'm going to the end, folks, and I'm not scared of all these attacks. I'm very honored. Hell, I expect sometime I'll probably hit a parking garage or something and they kill me. I mean, that's just the way the ball bounces. I chose this because somebody's got to do it. And not because I'm a hero. This is survival of the species we're talking about against a satanic pedophile army. You better believe I'm fighting them. You couldn't get me to stop. This isn't courage. This is instinct. This is absolute beyond will. This is compulsion. It'd be like if I was living back in the 50s and Marilyn Monroe, you know, was at her peak and she wanted to go on a date with me and I wasn't a married man. It's a torture having to take her out to dinner. I will assure you, this is a pleasure to be persecuted, a pleasure to be attacked by the pedophile army. It is an enjoyment. It is an honor. Our forebears gave up everything. Their kids got killed and they died. And they were imprisoned on prison ships and killed and tortured to death so that we'd have this. And I'm upset that they're coming after me. I am just barely walking up the steps to join my ancestors. I am not even a good person yet. And I intend to join them. Because everything they gave to us, they imparted will and honor and strength, and they transmitted it spiritually down through the time, through men and women, to us. And we now here are the holders of that great honor, of that great title. And we must be strong in the face of these satanic forces. Please support us, InfoWarsStore.com. Now, let me give you some really big news. I've not been sure about Michelle Obama being a transsexual. And I'm very serious when I cover this. Sometimes I look back and it seems silly to even be covering such a subject until you realize the globalists are like a tranny cult. In the culture, in the media, in the TV shows with drag racing and the rest of it, they're obsessed with it. And Hollywood has made countless drag movies, even though they're not popular. They keep force-feeding them, and I just keep wondering what's going on without even looking for it. When you're on the internet or your iPhone surfing, it gets shoved and shoveled at you, and you ask yourself, why is this so popular? And the answer is, it isn't. But in the minds of the elite, this must be one of their other favorite fetishes. Now, that said, I've seen a lot of weird bulge photos of her, and I've done the Google searches with the photo to see if it's Photoshopped, photo search it and see, no, there it is, Getty Images, or there it is, Associated Press image, and it really is a bulge. And then you see dozens and dozens and dozens, and then medical doctors come out and say, look at her head, look at her hands, look at her shoulders. She has the autonomy, the Adam's apple, everything of a man. And then a lady was at Harvard last week. I have the article right here out of Daily Mail. Let's move. Malia Obama checks into Harvard dorm with the help of Barack Obama and Michelle. And then you've got him in different videos saying, Michael and I, And we use shorter clips of the video we put out there going, oh, well, he doesn't really mean his wife. No, in the full clips he did. We're going to add those in links below. It's the #6 biggest video on YouTube right now. I noticed when I saw it the night before, it had already been taken down. We hadn't posted it. Somebody else had. It'd been taken down. But it had millions of views in just a few hours. So we reposted it under fair use, analyzing it, saying we're not against trannies, we're not against any of the stuff. Even though it's our free speech to be against them if we wanted to, I'm not. I don't hate them. I'm tolerant. I'm not out to get them. I just don't want our kids being sexualized by anybody. So I put out the headline, is this the final proof Michelle Obama is a man? ? Because hundreds of publications are saying Alex Jones says she's a man. Alex Jones says he has all this proof, and then they edit the video to not show the proof, and they edit the video to not show where I've put out the evidence, and they edit the video to leave out something even bigger. Nowhere in any of these articles showing you how controlled corporate media is, hundreds of them this morning, do they say Joan Rivers said it, and that's how I start the video. We took the video that they've basically tried to ban, put it into a larger context news piece I did, and show Joan Rivers right before she died mysteriously in a medical accident, saying, oh, we already have a gay president. Michelle and Obama, you know, she's a tranny. And she had dinner with them. She was friends with them. And then she died because they didn't want her doing further interviews. So I look at it and I just say, there's no way they're that bold. There's no way that they're that crazy. There's no way that this is actually happening. And then I see this video shot by a Democrat, by one of their fans. We've got the lady's page right here. She shoots the video, Sandy Alton Sinnett, and she shoots it of Michelle and Obama coming out, or Michael as he calls her, he, whatever it is, she, he, she, male, whatever. And she's walking down, and this is the raw video off her Facebook. They haven't taken that one down, just the folks that pointed it out. And man, folks, it's clearly either a real male member or it's an artificial one, and they're trying to basically troll folks. This could be a psyop. They've done this before. But it's either a very elastic rubber false member or it's the real deal, because she adjusts it just like a man does. It's incredibly obvious, and it looks like there's about an 8-inch rubber prosthesis. I mean, look, they put in the Harvard Law Review that he edited that he was born in Kenya. He said, I was born in Kenya. They have Michelle saying he was born in Kenya. We took the bait. He was born in America, folks. They put that out literally on purpose themselves, and we later confirmed it. He was from Hawaii, Frank Marshall Davis. He admitted it in his book. He said, I used to stay with Frank, my grandfather was best friends with him. It was like he was my dad. And then it turns out that was his dad. And we have the photos and everything. A famous communist. So, of course, they had to create the Kenya thing. Because she did marry guys as part of the deal to bring folks in as a side business, with these other men that she would marry to get them into the country on visas. That's a well-known scam. It was part of her CIA cutout. So I'm going to come back and play you this footage that they don't want you to see, or maybe they do want you to see. I don't know anymore. But look, I mean, one of her pants fell down, and then she had a huge you-know-what hanging down. I mean, either it's a fake thing in her pants, or it's real, because it's not Photoshopped and it's not fake video. We've blown up the video layers. We know how to look for the pixelation, the manipulation. It's not. She has a sausage, a cucumber, but it's jiggling around. It's flopping around. I mean, it looks like she's packing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Chelsea Clinton, who admits in the WikiLeaks they robbed 97% of the money from the Haitians and killed people. She says we're killing people. She's saying that Michelle Obama, or Michael Obama, is everything this site will never be. Honorable, brave, beloved, beautiful. Don't need to watch an awful video to know that. Ha! This is video shot by one of their fans where she looks like she's either got a rubber snake in her pants or she could be a major porn star in Hollywood, okay? And I'm not putting trannies down. So here's the deal. Joan Rivers said this and died. And none of the media will even cover that she had dinner with the Obamas, she was friends with them, and she was all for it, saying it's great that Obama's gay and that he's got a tranny wife. And it's a big joke on America. And then she died. But they don't ever show in the reports that I'm saying Joan Rivers said it. I was never sure. It was kind of a joke to me. I never created it. But now there's footage they're trying to pull off the internet where I guess she didn't tuck it between her legs or whatever, you know, like right out of Silence of the Lambs. It rubs the lotions on the skin. Oh, you know, I'd like me a little bit. Look, see it for yourself. Here's the footage. It's going to go to #1 on YouTube. If they try to take it down, you know it's the end of free speech, because I'm covering what people were already covering. And here comes Michelle Obama walking like a man, looking like a linebacker, way bigger than Obama, big hands, big head. And, man, I guess she's a devil then. Maybe it's a forked tail that's 6 inches long. That's it. Michelle Obama's a devil. I've already made the joke about Obama, but maybe it isn't. Maybe it's a little forked tail. You decide. What is this hanging between her legs, jiggling and flopping around? Here it is. Slow down. She's adjusting it. I mean, I've seen men my whole life myself adjust their packages. Sorry we're talking about this, folks, but they're bringing it up. Look at that. She's got, get that gun in line there. Since the early days of the Obama administration, citizens across the board have studied videos and photos of Michelle Obama and said, that is a man. And even Obama has called her over and over again, Michael. But new shock footage has emerged that's being censored off the internet as fast as you can upload it. I'm here to ask you, what do you think? Because in America, it's still okay to ask questions.
After all, there are many questions surrounding the president's past, and now people are starting to question the sexual orientation of the First Lady. Alex Jones has a special report on that. But first, here's what Joan Rivers had to say to kick the controversy into the mainstream.
You know Michelle is a trans...
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh, my gosh.
Is this final proof that Michelle Obama is a man? That's what the headlines are reading across the internet. I first saw this headline last night, and since then, the video has gone super viral across YouTube. All right, hit pause. Platforms. I'm going to come back in the next segment, play the rest of it. And again, they've caught people smuggling over the border parrots, snakes, in their bras, in their pants. One time my mom was flying back from Belize, and in the bathroom, when they landed in Houston, a lady pulled a parrot out of her shirt that was tied up. I'm not kidding. This happened. And she comes running out going, David, do I tell Customs they got a parrot? But I went, yeah, and walked over and told them some lady just came out of there with a parrot. But seriously, maybe she dropped a little bag of jewelry in, and that could kind of jiggle around a bunch of jewelry. I'm serious, because I'm not sure she's a man. They always say I'm definitive, I created it. No, Joan Rivers said it. And then she was dead. They said she's in there for a regular medical deal, like somebody poured gasoline down her throat. They said the technicians don't even know what happened. Just fire was shooting out of her mouth like she was a dragon. I mean, you can't make this up. Truth is way stranger than fiction. I don't know what happened. All I know is she's got a rubber Halloween snake in her pants then, okay? Fine, she's not a man. She carries a rubber snake around in her pants. That's much more plausible. And she just has big shoulders, big head, big hands. And Obama reportedly, like $65,000 of succulent hot dogs delivered to his house. It's just in the WikiLeaks, though, succulent hot dogs and special sauces.